Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our March Board of Trustees meeting for Austin Peay State University. And happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone in advance. At this time, Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins.
Present.
Trustee Canada.
Present.
Trustee Carroll.
Present.
Trustee Jenkins. Trustee Luck.
Here.
Trustee Malone.
Present.
Trustee May.
Present.
Trustee Mealer.
Present.
Trustee O'Malley.
Here.
Trustee Rayburn.
Present.
We have a quorum. Please note that there are items on your agenda that need to be adopted. I move for adoption of the agenda. Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. The minutes for the November 30th, 2018 board meeting were circulated in advance of the meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Thank you, and is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded that the minutes be approved. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, the minutes are approved. At this time, I'd like to recognize President White, who will introduce the individual who will provide us with a campus spotlight.
Thank you, Chairman O'Malley. We have a number of people on campus who provide service not only internally to our campus, but externally as professionals in their field. And one of those centers that we'd like to highlight today is the Geographic Information Systems Office. And I'm really delighted to have Michael Wilson here today, who's been doing a lot of work with the county, and I'm not going to steal his thunder and tell you what he's doing, but I think you'll find that those of you who live in this region are touched by what he does and what his team does on a daily basis, and you may not even know the impact that he has here. So I've asked him to come in and just tell you a little bit about what his center does on our campus and in our region.
First, I'd like to thank President White and the rest of the board for giving us this time this morning to talk about the GIS Center. Again, my name's Mike Wilson. I've directed the GIS Center since 2005. First thing I want to point out is the GIS Center has been on the APSU campus for the past 20 years. A lot of people do not know we exist. Hopefully, after my presentation, you'll have a better idea what we do and how we touch the lives of our community. I have a fancy definition about what GIS is. I'm sort of going to skip over that. What you can think of GIS as is imagine a spreadsheet. And in fact, this scenario has happened this year. I give you a spreadsheet of first-time freshmen coming to APSU. And you want to use that list to make some determinations. Where do we need to reach out to students? Where do we need to recruit students from? Looking at a spreadsheet, it's hard to make those determinations. So I take that spreadsheet, and a picture's worth 1,000 words. I make a picture so that way decisions can be made. Also, if you've ever seen Google Earth and Google Directions, some of what I do is related to that. So think of GIS as a picture's worth 1,000 words. We're taking a spreadsheet of information and putting it so somebody can make a decision much easier. At the center, including myself, we have 6 full-time employees. We have on the order of 23 students that work for us in some capacity or another. We have student workers who are working on our paid projects. We have interns who are unpaid but receiving a grade for a class. And lastly, and most interesting is our volunteers. We have students that want to gain experience, and you'll find out in a second why. They're coming to us asking to work at the center. This year, for one of the first times, we have actually had to turn away volunteers because we had too many volunteers, not enough computers and space to have people come in. I should also point out with the volunteers, we have them come in on a fixed schedule. So it's not as if people can just come in when they want. So these are students that are basically coming in on fixed schedules for us. Some of our clients who we work for is Clarksville, Montgomery County, Robertson County, Cheatham County, and Milan Army Ammunition Plant. With all of these groups, some of our key constituents are first responders, utilities, school systems, and we also do some collaborative research here on campus. When I say work with first responders, we assist in a lot of cases with disaster response, and I'll give you some specific examples here in a minute. With the utilities, we help them capture data and store data that's used for a variety of purposes, including serving the community. We manage data that's used to route all the school buses for all the children picked up and dropped off each day. Should mention the collaborative research. We've gotten involved in a lot of technology projects. We've had students and our staff working on the Vet Reconnect program, building the website. In fact, I should mention 7 students in total at the center have worked on that website, 2 of which I believe are here with us today, both Harrison Welch and Brendan Roten, joining us as students that have gained experience on that project. We are also building a grants database to help manage the grants coming into the university. Again, we've had 4 students work on that. 2 are here, Dylan and Harrison, have worked to develop that. And that's experience on a real-world project that's going to help them get a better job. Our goal with our students is hopefully they're going to get a job that pays better than mine. And that's what I consider success. When I talk about the community, back in 2008, Wolf Creek Dam is the largest body of water, man-made reservoir east of the Mississippi that was built on sinkholes. And back in 2008, the reservoir and the dam was being undermined because of the sinkholes under the dam. We provided analysis that our first responders used to plan in case of a disaster. Interestingly enough, when the 2010 flooding came about, those same models, again, EMA was able to use those as part of the response. During 2010, our staff actually went out and did damage assessments with the first responders. I always tell people that one of my proudest moments was we visited somebody and they said, well, you're the first person from the county we've seen and from Austin P that we've seen. And so we actually assisted those people affected, and literally they got aid quicker because of our work. So much so that FEMA started calling us to see if we had any data for other counties. Unfortunately, due to resources, we did not. We were able to assist with Cheatham County, help them as well. In the past year alone, we've responded and assisted with 1 disaster. We've helped with 2 manhunts, and we've also helped with the search for a lost child. In all of those cases, we either flew drones to search or we provide mapping. I should mention Kirby Wallace in particular. We did all the mapping for that. And in fact, the last set of maps we did were of the area where they finally captured him. Some of our other interesting work, and this is something that I feel touches the entire community, we work with 911s in both Cheatham and Montgomery County. And in the case of Montgomery County, we manage all the data that's used to respond to any call. What that means is there's 300 plus calls a day to the Montgomery County 911 Center. So anytime somebody's routed out, we're the ones managing the data to make sure those responders get to that emergency as fast as possible. We also do the same work in Cheatham County, and they're average about 28 calls a day. So there's a big difference there. But in all cases, our work is directly impacting the community. When I talk about our students, as of right now, we have at least 100 plus alumni who have worked at the center over the years. It's probably well over that number, but as I started counting, I came up with 100, so we'll go with that. Our graduation rate unofficially is approximately 100%. If you work for us, you graduate. We have a 90% employment rate immediately after graduation. In some cases, we have students that are getting jobs before they graduate. We, of course, make sure they finish. But they're getting jobs, and they're getting good paying jobs. We have students from a variety of departments. We're not just geosciences or geography. We're doing geoscience, computer science, literature, public management. We just had a student start last week from management in the College of Business. We have collaborative internships from computer science, literature, and public management, meaning that they have internship programs in those departments, and they send students over to us. Right now, I'm showing you a list of headlines that the GIS Center's been involved with. I think I'm showing 12 headlines here, 7 of which are just in the past year. That includes the Kirby Wallace manhunt. There was a second manhunt just last month, lost child. I should point out in the top left corner, there's an article about Rachel Perkins, one of our students with us today, who's developed a set of maps and data for the APSU library, showing historic data the library has with modern data. Hopefully, in the next week or two, we're going to have another, we have a student, Brendan, who's developed a set of maps to do roadblocks in the city and county where there's roads are closed. And we're going to distribute that to the community. The idea being we can help with first response routing as well as bus routing by putting a website together. Right now, if you looked at the last flooding event, the city and county put out lists of roads that were closed. A list of roads that are closed is really hard to picture sometimes where that is or what's happening. And so by putting it in a map, we're going to supplement that so people can see where things are happening. I should also mention that as part of our outreach, we've done work with the Gov School where students are here. We've had them come on campus, and we've worked with them and let them fly drones. Again, with the idea of hopefully recruiting them to come to APSU. Some of our current initiatives, we're starting work with the city and county on the 2020 census, which is incredibly important. As of 2010, each person in Montgomery County counted for approximately $1,100 of federal money that was coming into our community. By assisting with the census, hopefully that number is we're going to get a more accurate count, and also that'll mean more federal dollars coming back to the community. Just this year, we've gotten a grant to start a VR lab at the center. So we have students working in virtual reality and also integrating some of the drone work into different venues so you can see it. It's actually really cool. We have a drone lab now. I think we have approximately 9 drones plus a certified pilot, so we can use those drones. As I mentioned, we've used those drones in several law enforcement situations. We've also sponsored the drone racing team. I need to point out that I think last week we qualified for the Collegiate Drone Racing Association Championship in North Dakota. So we are working on getting the funds together to send at least one of our team, although we can send up to 5 members, to North Dakota to participate in that. And if you looked at the list of universities, I think there's probably 15 universities, and all of them are names you would recognize, and there's Austin P. with them. Some of our upcoming initiatives, we're going to start doing demo days, which means once a month we're going to invite anyone to come to the center and see our technology and experience it as outreach. I want to be the first to invite everyone here to one of our demo days because you'd be really impressed with our technology and what the students have put together. We're starting to look at how we can integrate machine learning and artificial intelligence in our work. I have a student, Justin Hara, that's just beginning the adventure of learning about machine learning, and how we can integrate that at the center. We're also doing work with Internet of Things, which is a pretty cool technology. One of our students, Nathan Nickerson, has been working on that. I should also mention Nathan's done 2 REUs, one at Auburn, one in Alaska, which is, again, pretty prestigious. And also he's interviewing with a company that does autonomous vehicles. And again, that's pretty prestigious and pretty awesome. Future plans, these are all subject to us finding funding. The big one is we want to get a GIS mobile trailer. GIS mobile trailer would help us. It turns out that, particularly in the law enforcement situations, nobody wants to run into the woods and hide in an area with internet access. And what we've discovered is, as the first responders need data, we are putting people out at the command post in the middle of nowhere. But if we want maps printed or data processed, we'll have to run back to the office or run people out there and go back and forth. So what we'd like to do is take our technology with us. Also, I mentioned all the drones we have. We want to be able to move those drones out there, all the equipment, so we can fly and work with the community. The other big initiative we have is we're trying to find funding to create a makerspace. Makerspace is a space where students or members of the community could come in and use some of our equipment to develop their ideas, more as a spirit of entrepreneurship. These are, again, some of the future plans we have at the center. We're always trying to come up with cool new ideas to get more students involved. Does anybody have any questions?
If I could. This is the future. What we're talking about is the future. Our adversaries, Russia and principally China, are well ahead of us in AI, machine learning, etc. There's a thing, you may have already read it, called Battlefield Singularity. Have you read that?
I'm aware of it. I haven't read it, but I'm aware of it.
But it clearly indicates, that this field is going to go poof, really, really quick. And I can see why a lot of people would like to be parts of it. It combines artificial intelligence, cyber, simulations of all sorts and types, and gets into hacking and all of this. But it's I don't know how you elicit any more support for it. Other than governmental support, I don't know whether you could make contact with the Department of Defense. And,
We are.
see if they would. If I was up there, I'd give you money to keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I should mention the center is self-sufficient, meaning we are, all the funds coming in, our people are funded totally. Their salaries are coming, and the students are coming from our outside contracts.
But I'd give it to you for what's next. Not
So
what it is.
we're very aggressive in pursuing opportunities. So we've applied for several machine learning and artificial intelligence grants, and we're hopefully going to pursue more. We're trying to stay abreast with current technology. I should also mention that we've brought a couple VR headsets with us here today, and I believe there's going to be a break soon. If anybody wants to see some of our drone work and a demo we put together with VR, we'll have that outside. And again, I'll be reaching out to everyone with the President's permission to invite you to the center so you could see what we're doing. A lot of our technology is very hands-on, and we focus on stuff where it's not just theoretical work, it's all applied research, so you can see what we're doing. But again, anybody have any other questions?
Where on campus is your center located?
We are located off campus. We are located at the corner of 2nd Street and Forbes.
2nd and Forbes.
2nd and Forbes.
Well, first of all, this is just fascinating. So I really enjoyed your presentation. I have a lot of questions, but I will try to limit. One is, when is demo day?
We are trying to pick a day, and I've assigned
Okay.
one of the guys at the office to sort of figure that out. We're probably going to shoot for the end of this month. Beginning of April. And sometime in the beginning of April, we're going to schedule something. We'll be putting out announcements and all that. It's one of the complaints, and I'm going to put that in quotes, people have had about the center is the center is very well known within the governmental agencies locally, but we have not done enough public outreach. And so part of our new initiative this year is we're doing a lot of public outreach. So the demo days is something new to us. We're going to participate in the city's F2 conference, which is a gaming conference, which is sometime next month. We're going to participate in another STEM outreach activity sometime in April with one of the high schools. And of course, the name, I think it's Kenwood. The name's eluding me right now. We're trying to find other opportunities where the public can be more aware of what we're doing. We get called a lot from the county agencies, but again, we're trying to get more outreach. People know what we're doing. So the demo days, we're looking probably in the first week of April, and I'll get you more information on that.
Catherine, that battlefield singularity thing I mentioned, it's a huge document, but if you write it down to executive summary, it's about
I wrote that down.
which is some insight about what the Chinese are doing.
Well, thank you again for your time.
How much is the trailer?
Right now, we're trying to get quotes. We're probably looking at 40 or 50,000 when we're outfitting. But that's one of those things where we just met with a company maybe last week or the week after that does this type of stuff, and trying to figure that out. But we've been pretty lucky finding funds over the years. So hopefully,
And you alluded to it, Mike, in terms of the jobs. And I assume these are some of the students that are here.
Yes, I have, my whole crew is here today. Although most of my students have morning classes, my staff is here with us, my students. In fact, the students, if you could just jump up.
Yeah, great job, everyone.
These are all students. And staff as well. So we can get everybody, staff, go ahead and. Good.
Well, it's fascinating stuff, and you guys are doing a great work. And I love these sessions that you bring in for us because we get to learn something about the campus that I'll speak for me, that I had no idea was out there and was going on.
Did you notice how many times he said students?
Yes.
That's my favorite part of the entire presentation. High tech, highly professional students. Loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done, Mike. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate your time today.
And we're going to take about a 10-minute break now. We have some people moving in and out. So 10-minute break, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I guess we'll reconvene. And I'd like to recognize now Trustee May, member of the Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Committee, to give us a report on the committee meeting yesterday.
Thank you, Chairman O'Malley. Thank you for the opportunity to present my report from yesterday's Academic Programs and Policies / Student Life Board Committee meeting. The committee reviewed the following information items. Provost Gandy presented a student success report regarding the university's initiatives to improve student success and retention. Vice President of Student Affairs Norman presented a job placement report based on results from a student survey. The committee reviewed and approved the following action items. Proposed Doctor of Psychology, a Psych D program, counseling psychology program, and selection of a student trustee. Both of these items will be presented to you for action in today's meetings. That concludes my report, and I move that the board approve the minutes of the March 14th Academic Programs and Policies / Student Life Board Committee as written.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee Luck. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Committee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the minutes of the Academic Policies and Programs Student Life Committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Trustee May's report contained action items that we need to consider as a full board. Trustee May, do you have a motion for us?
Yes, you have before you a copy of the proposed Doctor of Psychology, Counseling Psychology Program. By direction of the committee, I move to approve the proposed Doctor of Psychology, Counseling Psychology Program.
And because it's a motion of the committee, we don't need a second. You have heard the motion on the approval of the Doctor of Psychology and Counseling Psychology. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the approval of the Doctor of Psychology and Counseling Psychology, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Trustee May?
You also have before you information regarding the 3 individuals who applied and were selected as finalists to serve as our next student trustee. After careful discussion and deliberation, the committee proposes that the board select Stacy McAllister Brooks to serve in this position. By direction of the committee, I move that we select Stacy McAllister Brooks to serve as our next student trustee. The student will serve a 1-year term beginning on May 5th, 2019, the day after commencement, and running through the 2019-20 academic year.
Thank you. You've heard the motion on the selection of the student trustee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the selection of the student trustee is on the table. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations to her. And I think that's all for the committee report. Thank you very much. I'd now like to recognize Trustee Kanata, Chair of the Audit Committee, to give us a report on their committee meeting yesterday.
Thank you. The Audit Committee yesterday reviewed and approved the revised internal audit plan for fiscal year 2019. The Audit Committee also listened to 3 presentations, informational presentations. The first was the Audit Committee Charter, Internal Audit Charter, Employee Code of Conduct Policy, and the Conflict of Interest Policy. The second informational item was the internal audit reports released between November 7th, 2018 and February 18th, 2019, along with a list of outstanding audit items. Third, we listened to the State Comptroller's Office Financial and Compliance Audit Report for 2018. This concludes my report, and I move that we accept the minutes of the Audit Committee meeting held yesterday, March 14th.
Thank you, Catherine. Is there a second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the Audit Committee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the minutes of the Audit Committee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes are approved. Trustee Kanata, are there any items for the full board to consider?
Not today.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to recognize Trustee Atkins, Chair of the Business and Finance Committee, to give us a report on their committee meeting yesterday.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, the committee reviewed and approved the following action items: consideration of non-mandatory fees for the 2019-2020 academic year, and consideration of housing rates for the 2019-2020 academic year. These items will be presented for your review and action in a few minutes. The committee also reviewed the following information items: a review of the governor's budget recommendation and a review of the fiscal year 2017-2018 financial report. Recently, the governor held the state address where his budget was discussed for the next fiscal year. The budget will be approved by the state legislature in the spring. The governor's budget was shared with the committee. Additional information from the financial report for fiscal year 2017-2018 was shared with the committee. The composite financial index was also shared. The university's current composite financial index is 1.72. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report, and I move that the board approve the minutes of the March 14th Business and Finance Committee as written.
Thank you very much. Is there a second? seconded by trustee Carroll. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the Business and Finance Committee meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the minutes of the Business and Finance Committee meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Trustee Atkins' report contained action items that we need to consider as a full board. Trustee Atkins, do you have a motion for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have before you consideration of the non-mandatory fees for the 2019-2020 academic year. You have before you a copy of those for the 2019-2020 academic year. And by direction of the committee, I move to approve the non-mandatory fees for the 2019-2020 academic year.
And because it's a motion of the committee, we don't need a second. You have heard the motion on the consideration of non-mandatory fees for the 2019 and 20 academic year. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the consideration of the non-mandatory fees for 19 and 20, please call the roll, Ms. Secretary.
Trustee Atkins?
Yes.
Trustee Canada?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Luck?
Yes.
Trustee May?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley?
Yes.
Trustee Rayburn?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Billy?
Trustees, you also have before you an additional item, a copy of the housing rates for the 2019-2020 academic year. By direction of the committee, I move to approve the housing rates for the 2019-2020 academic year.
So you've heard the motion on the consideration of housing rates for the 19-20 academic year. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the consideration of housing rates for the 19-20 academic year. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins?
Yes.
Trustee Canada?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Luck?
Yes.
Trustee May?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley?
Yes.
Trustee Rayburn?
Yes.
8 yeses.
And thank you, Billy, for your report. Thank you also for the opportunity to present my report from yesterday's executive committee meeting. The committee reviewed and approved the following action items. We approved Austin Peay State University's mission profile, approved and revised the revised executive committee charter, and also approved the appeals and appearances before the board policy 1010. The above items will be presented for your review and action after the approval of the executive committee minutes. That concludes my report, and I move that the board approve the minutes of the March 14th executive committee as written. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Atkins. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the minutes of the executive committee. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. The minutes are approved. You have before you Austin Peay's mission profile. By direction of the committee, I move that the board approve Austin Peay State University's mission profile. And because it's a motion of the committee, we don't need a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the approval of Austin Peay's mission profile. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. You also have before you the revised executive committee charter. By direction of the committee, I move that the board approve the revised executive committee charter. Any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the approval of the revised executive committee charter. Secretary, please call the roll.
Trustee Atkins?
Yes.
Trustee Canada?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Luck?
Yes.
Trustee May?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee O'Malley?
Yes.
Trustee Rayburn?
Yes.
8 yeses.
Thank you. You also have before you the revised appeals and appearances before the board policy 1010. By direction of the committee, I move that the board approve the revised appeals and appearances before the board policy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the approval of the revised appeals and appearances before the board policy 1010. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. And that concludes the report of the executive committee. We are being asked to approve several naming requests for facilities on campus. I'd like now to introduce Lieutenant General Ron Bailey, Vice President for External Affairs, to provide information on these requests. General?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Good morning. This agenda item is a naming request of the William E. and Sadeko S. Newton Military Family Resource Center. This center is located at 426 College Street, which is next to Johnny's. The Military Center will provide coordinated service to support military-related students by assisting them with their successful integration into the campus community and the attainment of their educational and career goals. Wilma Newton, college graduate of Austin Peay State University in 1973, donated a transformative blended gift to us on December the 12th, 2018, and pledged an estate gift. The gift exceeds the required 25% needed in order to name the location on Austin Peay campus. The cash gift will be used to renovate the current building, and the remaining balance will be used to support the programs of Austin Peay Military Family Resource Center. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the.
Will you present on all three of them? They're going to take
Oh,
a motion for all
okay.
three together.
The next agenda item is the naming request of the Joe Maynard Field. You may recall that on March 9th, 2018, the board approved this original name as the Joe and Kathy Maynard Baseball Field. Per the donor's request, with the board approval, the name will be changed to the Joe Maynard Field. The recommendation to name the Joe Maynard Field was made by a campus committee and appointed to in compliance with the Austin Peay policy of 7009. The next agenda item III, is the naming request of the Kathy Maynard Park. It's a softball field. On March 9th, 2018, the APSU Board of Trustees originally approved the name of Joe and Kathy Maynard Softball Stadium. Per the donor's request and with the board's approval, the name will be changed to the Kathy Maynard Park. This recommendation was also approved by the committee and appointed in compliance with Austin Peay's policy of 7009 in naming of rooms and areas and buildings and plaques.
Thank you very much, General Bailey. You have heard the explanation from General Bailey. We will take these up as a group. Is there a motion to approve the naming of the William E. and Sadeko S. Newton Military Family Resource Center, the naming of the Joe Maynard Baseball Field, and the naming of the Kathy Maynard Softball Park? Is there a second? Seconded by Trustee May. It is moved and seconded that we approve the naming of these facilities. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, the question on the approval of naming the facilities, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you very much. And thank those three, the family and the two individuals for their generous contribution that allowed us the opportunity to name these facilities. At this time, I'd now like to recognize President White to give her report and also report on any interim items.
Thank you. So you have in your notebooks a review of contracts and State Building Commission actions. I'd be happy to answer any questions as you have any. And I'll let you look at that, and then you can ask me at the end or any time you'd like to, actually. But I also wanted to introduce formally to the board someone you met informally yesterday, and that is Dr. Eric Norman. If you'll stand, Dr. Norman. Dr. Norman is our new Vice President for Student Affairs. We're so happy to have him on campus. He had excellent student affairs experience at a number of universities, including Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Delaware. Of course, he mentioned that he'd come from LSU, but it's a SEC tournament right now in Nashville, so I would keep that kind of on the down low until everybody's out of town. But he has great experience. And one of the reasons I was so excited that he joined us is in his interview, he talked about his experience elsewhere getting grants to help support some of the student affairs needs, because frankly, the old funding models are not going to work going forward. At some point, the higher education funding model has to change. And one way to do that is to get external support for the things our students need. So we're really happy to have you here at Austin Peay, Dr. Norman. His family will be joining us after his oldest son graduates from high school. What I'll tell you is he's a swimmer. And so we're excited to have both boys join us, although the older boy will be going to college, and he's always ranked in the top 5 swimmers in the nation, by the way. So he's been 2, he's been 3. And so this is a family of a close-knit family of achievement, and we're just excited to have them all join us. So, as I'm trying not to cough, excuse me, I'm wanting today to give you kind of a foreshadowing of where I think we're going to be going. And this really gets back to Trustee Luck's question yesterday about whether or not we are in better shape, the same shape, what we think will be the role of higher education going forward under new state leadership. And I was really happy that the question came up because it's really the focus of my remarks today. I also want to thank you for your questions last meeting. One of you asked about career services, and you got a report on our career services office yesterday. There was some question about student success, and you got an in-depth student success report yesterday as well. And you'll have an even more in-depth report in the next meeting, because we'll have some data that shows some results of some current initiatives. And so as things come to you that you want to know, we're happy to bring those to you and want to be as responsive as we can. I have loved being in Tennessee these last almost 5 years because we are national models. We have a state that puts higher education at the top of its priority and understanding where we need to go. And it's not because we've always been that way. I spent many years here as a young person, and we're catching up in some ways. But you know that the last governor was very focused on education, and he selected you all to serve on the board and interviewed with you, and you engaged with him. And so I was looking forward to seeing what our new governor would say about higher education, because anytime you're not pressing forward, you're moving back. And if you've been around Austin Peay at all, you know that we're not moving back. We are pressing forward. And so I was really happy that he outlined some of his priorities in his first State of the State address last week. And so we actually just took his speech and parsed it and looked to see where he was going and what that might mean for Austin Peay and how we can be part of that vision. And so I was delighted to learn that in his proposed budget, he did not propose any cuts to Austin Peay or higher education in general. And that's really important because the state does have we have a limited set of resources, and anytime you have new priorities, you may reallocate. And so in this case, we are really held harmless, and I'm delighted about that. Now, we'll have to wait a few weeks to see what the General Assembly does, because they have to approve the budget and they can make changes in the budget. Then once we know exactly what those appropriations are, we'll be bringing our next budget proposals to you for the part that you have to see over to determine what we're going to do with our discretionary money. Of course, remembering that about 72% of our overall budget is tied up in salaries and benefits. So in addition, Governor Lee identified a lot of priorities that we support. One of his top priorities is the alignment of education to the needs of job creators. And this is a priority that's held by our region, and we've been working with Montgomery County, Clarksville, and the larger community on this effort. We held an industry summit, and it was put on by Dr. Meisch and General Bailey and their teams in the fall. And that particular summit brought in educational providers. So Austin Peay, the technical and community colleges in our area, and community leaders. We had city and county leaders, educational leaders, and business leaders. We had not only local representatives and state representatives, but national representatives who came from LG and Hankook and Google to participate in that summit. And by the way, Google, one of our faculty members just got a $100,000 award from Google about a week or two ago to support the Southeastern Grasslands Initiative. So they've been good partners with us. But those discussions were to determine how we could more closely align with regional needs. Last month, we hosted another industry summit for veterans interested in opening a small business, and that was in conjunction with the same folks I mentioned, and also our Small Business Development Center. And so participants learned about best practices to start entrepreneurial ventures. And I can't really say more, I can't emphasize how important that is, especially for our students who come from rural areas. There may not be big industry moving into town. The best shot for smaller communities to keep their students when they graduate is for those students to be able to open a business. You know, whether it's a restaurant or a hair salon or a pharmacy, but something that allows them to have a profession and a way to make a living in that town. And so that particular summit was particularly for resources, and it hosted, the truck center was full, and we really got good results from that. So we'll be hosting another industry summit this fall to discuss the results of an industry survey and to offer workshops to facilitate improvement of student outcomes. So Governor Lee also said that some companies don't require a college degree for some high-skilled jobs, and that we need to think differently about how we approach preparing our kids for careers. And we recognize that. But we also recognize that many companies do require college degrees so that their employees are broadly educated about life and the world and have developed strong analytical and critical thinking skills. Austin Peay's in a really good spot because we offer degrees ranging from associate degrees to the EDD. And so we can serve a lot of students on that spectrum depending on what their job interests are. And so we really find our place as a university with a niche where, regardless of where you want to go, we really believe that Austin Peay can help you get there and be very competitive when you leave. In addition to assisting industries in Tennessee, Governor Lee has requested an investment in agricultural education, and he's allocated funding for FFA and 4-H youth programs. So Austin Peay has a very strong agricultural program and great ag facilities. You know, we have a 440-acre farm, and we're going to take you out there for a meal when it's reliably warm. I'm looking for that sweet spot when it's not too cold and not too warm, and Tennessee has been challenging me on that side both ways. But our ag program has seen record enrollments. We have seniors performing in the top third tier of the nationally normed ACAT agricultural exit examinations. Our ag department hosts the FFA and 4-H land judging competition for Montgomery and Robertson County high school agricultural programs at the farm every year. The ag department has hosted the Tennessee Farm Bureau's Ag in the Classroom educational training at the farm for K-12 teachers and 4-H educators, which helps bring agricultural education into the classroom. And as a bonus, this has nothing to do with ag, but it's really cool. The farm has an observatory with a telescope using the same optical technology as was in the Hubble, and that our astronomy classes exercise. And if you recall, NASA was here a year and a half ago because of the benefit of that particular observatory during the eclipse. So Governor Lee's proposed budget does support education, and for higher education, he set aside new dollars to fully fund the higher education funding formula. So when you hear that higher education is fully funded, that's a fabulous thing for us. But remember, only 30% of our budget comes from the funding formula. So we always advocate that the governor and the legislature do fully fund the formula, but then we still need 70% of our budget that comes from other sources. In addition, Governor Lee committed to investing an additional $2.3 million in financial aid for students in Tennessee, and that makes more than $12 million invested. That's really important to us because many of our students receive this financial aid. Almost 30% of our undergraduate students receive the Tennessee Student Assistance Award, and more than 30 receive the lottery scholarship. 30% receive the Hope Scholarship. And because we offer associate's degrees, students can use the Tennessee Promise and the Tennessee Reconnect grants at the university. Now, those funds don't completely pay for university tuition, but any funds that the students would be awarded to use at a community college or technical college, they can apply those to their university tuition at Austin Peay. Governor Lee's address also cast a vision for public schools. He wants to make Tennessee the home of the best public schools in America, and we're in a unique position to help. Our Erickson College of Education received a 3 out of 4 rating on the state's report card from the Tennessee Board of Education in 2018. This report looks at 3 areas: the candidate profile, that means who is the student graduating, employment, and provider impact. That's our impact. So when the university compares itself to other state institutions who serve a majority undergrad population, we rank 5th in the state among all public and private institutions, and 3rd in the state among all public institutions. The Erickson College of Education is doing a great job to prepare students for licensure, and because of their hard work and the hard work of the students, they score above the state and national average on the EdTPA exam. So in addition to making the public schools better, the governor proposed a pilot program to assist Tennessee's 15 distressed counties. Tennessee is almost 2 states. You can take the average, you can take the populace, and we are very fortunate to be in a very productive, growing, energetic, vibrant community, and certainly Austin Peay benefits from that. Our students and our faculty and staff benefit from that. But there are 15 counties in Tennessee that don't live like many of the others, and they don't have the same opportunities. And the governor has said that he wants to assist those distressed counties so that they are not as economically disadvantaged, that they're not as underserved for education as well. And again, Austin Peay was a little ahead of the game. So under the leadership of Dr. Prentice Chandler, the dean of the Erickson College of Education and the education faculty, Austin Peay opened a center for rural education a year ago, and that serves many of those distressed counties. Austin Peay was founded to train teachers to serve rural schools in Tennessee, and the Center for Rural Education is assisting with these efforts geographically by supporting the needs of rural educators in the state. The focus of the center is outreach, teaching initiatives, collaboration, and research. The Center for Rural Education is planning a STEM professional development opportunity for teachers in Houston and Humphreys County this summer, and will host a rural education conference next spring. So we're committed to helping because we know that, frankly, if there's one county that's distressed, it's important that the state do what we can and the educational institutions do what we can to lift every citizen of Tennessee. Governor Lee is concerned with school safety, and he's asked the legislature to fund an additional $30 million to support school safety. Austin Peay has benefited from state investments in safety and security in the past, and previously our classroom and laboratory doors could not be locked from the inside. Because of funding provided by the state, we've changed the hardware on classroom and laboratory doors. I can't tell you how long that took and how many doors there are on this campus. And now occupants can lock those doors from the inside, but that we think is critical to their safety. We're currently inventorying other spaces with academic and office buildings and changing hardware as appropriate. All of our residence halls have proximity readers on the exterior, which allows them to be locked 24/7. So students who are supposed to have access have ID readers, and as they walk up to the gate or to the door, that door will unlock for them. The university contracts with an alert system company that alerts campus by mail or text message of potential emergencies occurring on or near campus. Alerts are also posted on the social media outlets of the university and our website. We recently installed 3 parking lot gates to close parking lots downtown over the weekends due to security concerns. Our students park there, and our faculty and staff park there in some cases, and we have seen situations where folks would be coming in at night after visiting some other businesses and may not be behaving in the way that we would expect our students to, and we don't want our students exposed to that. And so we're making sure that we have control over those lots. So we have cameras in public areas on campus and blue light call boxes to enhance the safety and security of the campus, but you can also use your phone. Students, faculty, and staff have access to a system where this is my blue light. And so I think that it would be very challenging to find one person on campus who is not connected to a phone. And so we believe that's really the best way to contact us. And we're continuing to explore those new technologies, and we will continue to access state dollars as needed and as we're able to increase security on campus. And then one of the most serious challenges that our county and state is facing is the mental health crisis, and I've shared that with you before. Nearly 300,000 Tennesseans are facing serious mental health crises. Tennessee's suicide rate is 20% higher than the national average. 20% higher than the national average. That's stunning to me. And the governor recommended an increase of $11 million in recurring funds to the behavioral safety net and the regional mental health institutes. He has proposed a $1.1 million investment to expand the state's partnership with the Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network for a new outreach model and to increase the efforts of the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. You know, in a meeting we had, maybe it was a year ago, when we discussed mental health, I told you that I was really stunned by the challenges that our students come to college with. And this explains it a bit to me because my colleagues are facing it in other states, and they're certainly facing it at other universities. But clearly this is something that our state needs to focus on, because that will also carry out, that will impact families, that will impact neighborhoods, that will impact cities, certainly employers. And so it's something that we all have to look at. To help with preventive efforts related to mental health and suicide, we have expanded our infrastructure by hiring a public health professional. We've optimized mental health service delivery by embedding counselors in critical areas, such as student housing and cultural centers, and increased the availability and utilization of drop-in counseling centers across campus. Our student counseling services offers a variety of campus-based programs, including Unity Week, suicide prevention, which we had an event on campus last night, so that students know it's not a problem to get help. There is no stigma to getting help, and I know that is different from in the past. But we have to be able to send the message that there is the only challenge is not getting help. If you get help, you are the hero. And so I just say to any student who looks at this online or live stream or faculty or staff member for that matter, the heroes are the ones who get help. And so let us help you be a hero. I'll just say that. So we're taking this seriously, and I'm glad the governor is as well. And we are continuing to strengthen community partnerships. Today, you approved the Doctor of Psychology and Counseling Psychology. Thank you for that. That will help us not only on this campus, but it'll help us put more mental health professionals out to help other communities. And we just want you to know that we are dedicated to helping our campus community as people, not just as students or scholars. So I've given you a lot of information about a wide range of topics, but literally took these topics from the governor's speech because I thought it would give a nice way to show that we really are aligned with what he said his priorities are last week in the state address. I think it was March 4th. So I'll be happy to take questions, hear your concerns, or answer any questions that you might have about the interim items.
I have a couple issues, that are questions, not issues. But recently, I think you've read it, all of us read it too. Hello? The connectivity to us being the third fastest growing city in the United States for tech. ideas. That ought to be a marriage made in heaven for us with Google and Hyundai and others out there. And so it seems like we're on target there. The psychology grant that we went through, the acknowledgement, that also seems to pair nicely with this suicide thing and a way to mesh there. Of course, one of the best ways to do this is get rid of the drugs, which is not it's not a university deal, but the mentoring. The other thing is this dadgum thing right here. Kids don't have mentors and good, close knit friends that they can bump stuff off from at this crucial phase in their life. And it's, again, not a university problem, it's a deeper thing. But I noticed in our thing here, we call our mission profile statement moderately selective institution. What does that mean?
That means that we try to take students that we know we can help be successful. So there are students who can get into Austin Peay who might not could get into the flagship.
Mm-hmm.
We take students maybe who don't have the highest ACT.
Okay.
Although we do have a lot of students who score perfect scores on the highest, on the ACT. So we have a lot of very accomplished students. But we also realize that not every student or applicant comes with on a level playing field.
Yeah.
So they come maybe from different, maybe first-gen homes where they didn't have anybody helping them with homework, didn't have anyone who'd been to college before, maybe didn't have a lot of options in high school.
Interesting.
And so we try to take students. That means moderately selective means we don't take everyone, because if you really can't, if it's not likely for you to be successful, we don't want to just take your money.
Yeah.
And so that's really kind of what that means.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what you said about students coming with a variety of issues, and it's not just our problem. And you're right; it's not something that we create. But because they come, it is our problem.
You got it.
Yeah, and we do have students coming. Not only do we have students coming here and throughout all the universities in the nation with some challenges with drugs. We have them coming from homes where their parents use drugs, and I really do believe that the conversation has to be more on what you said. Not using your phone as your pal, but connecting with a human being.
Right.
And connecting with the right kinds of human beings. And one of the things I really am happy about to see here is Austin Peay has a lot of programs to try to connect students that first week of school. Mm-hmm. You can get lost here, but you have to kind of try, because we push you and pull you to connect with someone. And the provost has worked with Dr. Griffey and some others who are bringing in some academic coaches, peer coaches, to try to catch students when they first come in. Dr. Norman's folks try to grab people and send them to like a learning community where they're talking to people like themselves. And what I found is a lot of the students don't have to be the most popular students. They don't need to have 10 friends.
Right.
They just need one.
Yeah.
They just need to connect with someone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Celeste may have some ideas on that too, but I agree with exactly what you're saying.
No. Personally, I've spoken in multiple APSU 1000 classes. Tammy Bryant, Dr. Bryant, she's in student affairs. Dr. Norman, she's asked me to speak in multiple classes. One of the things that I think is the most rewarding is when the students come and find me after I leave. They come and they're like, your story is my story, and I really would like to talk to you more about how I can become, not necessarily Celeste, but become somebody who is a progressive member of the Austin Peay community. I've had people ask me about interviews, resumes, how I got internships. But one of the things that I am very proud of is being able to help mentor some of those first year students. They call me, they text me, like, here's my number, let me know if you need anything. I've picked people up from bus stations before. I've done anything possible to make sure that we've created an environment where students can be successful, even with the All-State mentoring, the current editor-in-chief, mentoring students that were there. So I think that that's really beneficial. I mean, I know cell phones are, tied to my hand and everybody's hands, but I think one of the things that I know a lot of the students here do very well is being interpersonal and understanding the need at Austin Peay. So I have a few ideas, but I'll just call up President White a little bit later.
Issue that someone told me when I was really young, you're going through this, not a long time ago, pick a lane. Pick a lane, stay in your lane, and defend your lane. You do a really good job of that here at this university, I think. But I would say that it applies to where we want to gear ourselves or focus ourselves in our kind of name that goes underneath Austin Peay State University. This is where you go to get this done. Nursing, psychology, you name it. And so I'd say that's your work, and I know you're doing it, and I'm very impressed with it. And I just wanted to say that pick a lane and make this university even greater than it was.
One of the things that the faculty have done really well is kind of forecasting where the industries are going.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned the cybersecurity.
Yeah.
We have, Dr. Maish, how many majors now in computer science? Is it about 500?
Yeah, not including graduate.
So just undergraduate, we have about 500 computer science students, and they can partner with other departments and have concentrations in cybersecurity, or they can work in predictive analytics, and it's really interesting to see what they can build. And of course, we're known for healthcare already. We have a very well-respected nursing program, but also medical laboratory science is an amazing program that's always 100% full and has 100% job placement. And they do really, really good work. And then we have a recognized psychology program, but they're building this program exactly, and I see Dr. Nickmeyer here, they are building this program in response to not just industry need, but societal need.
Yeah.
And so universities are relevant. And we are making sure that our students are given every opportunity to compete well in the workforce. And I'm grateful to your support for that, because these programs are important. But I will say it's also important to be able to, you've got to give time for these programs to grow and to make sure that they are well developed. And just so as the provost mentioned yesterday, this new PsyD program, if it is approved by THEC and SAC-COC, our accreditor, it will grow in cohorts to make sure it's a very strong, viable program that our students have the opportunities that they need. And so I appreciate your willingness to work with us on those programs.
Dr. White, as usual, thank you for your very informative and insightful comments on where we are and where we're going, especially in light of our new state leadership. I think it was really informative, so thanks. Before we adjourn, a couple of important additional items. On behalf of the board, let me first offer my thanks and appreciation to Dr. Nell Rayburn. This is Dr. Rayburn's final meeting with the board, and you have had an invaluable role with this inaugural Board of Trustees at Austin Peay. Your leadership and insights have been terrific and have really helped us to move forward as we kind of learned our way here these first couple of years. So, Nell, thank you very much for all you've done.
Let me just say that once again, it's been a privilege to serve on this board, and I am deeply and profoundly impressed with each of my fellow board members, and I'm also deeply and profoundly grateful to you that you've taken that you're willing to share your time and your expertise to serve on this board. You are so important to Austin Peay, and I am very, very grateful for the privilege of getting to know you and getting to work with you. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Nell. And I'm reminded by Dr. White that this, while it's your final meeting, you're not off the board until, you're not off the hook until, what? June. So.
She isn't going to let you get away.
Yeah, that's right. Secondly, this is also the final board meeting for our student trustee, our second student trustee, Celeste Malone. And while we had a terrific first student trustee, I think Celeste has raised the bar. We wish you all the best luck. And again, thank you for your many insights and the leadership that you've provided and the high bar that you've set for your successor as well, Celeste. So good luck to you. You want to make it a...
Sure. I would really like to thank everybody. I've learned so much from each of you every time we'd sat and we would have discussions. You know, I was so in awe of the amazing and talented and insightful conversations that we had. I'm truly thankful, truly just floored by how amazing this has been and this experience has been. You guys have such a dedication to Austin Peay. Obviously, I came prepared today because I wanted to, show everybody, that Austin Peay is an amazing place to be. And I'm so humbled to have had this experience with you all and to be here and to continuously serve Austin Peay. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Celeste. Last but not least, I want to thank McCartney. McCartney is here in Danelle's absence. Danelle, as all of us know, had her first child, and I guess will be back at our next meeting.
Yes.
McCartney did a terrific job helping prepare all of us for the meeting, and I've also been told that you have successfully defended your dissertation, and in May, this will be Dr. McCartney Johnson. So congratulations. Well done. Are there any other questions or comments before we adjourn?
I couldn't help but notice red, but Green and O'Malley. There must be something going on.
I didn't wear my shamrock socks today. I'll save those for Sunday, but yes.
I noticed.
Michael Patrick O'Malley, I can't help it.
Yeah.
As a reminder, our next regularly scheduled meeting will take place, is it correct, June 6th, 7th? June 6th and 7th. With that, I move that the meeting adjourn. Can I hear a second? There were a lot of seconds there. It is moved and seconded that the meeting adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. And thank you also for the people that set up the room, that do the video, that have our food and everything. You guys do a terrific job. Thank you all.